Yes, y'all getting this outfit back to back because I'm playing catch up. All right, are we ready? Slow down with me on Sunday. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Alicia Elizabeth, and as you can see, today is not Sunday, it is Monday. But I told you a long time ago that I am committed to coming through with the things that I made promises about. And so here we are. I skipped, I believe it's been a week or two from posting on my YouTube, given the current events, which the nation should know about. Everyone should know about right now with the Black Lives Matter movement and police brutality and just the oppression of different groups in general. I decided to take a break. Partly because it was necessary, right? How things were going online. I fully supported the mindset that everything else should take a seat so that all information being streamed focused on this movement. In addition to needing to take care of my mental health. And so today's video, I just want to talk about the Black Lives Matter movement and self-care. I am not arguing any view in this video as to what you should be doing, but instead, I want to encourage you about what you should be doing for yourself and to be a contribution or to contribute to the current movement and endeavors of different groups right now. So I took some time off. And if I'm going to be completely honest, which I always want to be, that's my air condition. I always say that because it just comes on so loud, and I just want you to know that if I start yelling, it's because I want to make sure you can hear me. I would be lying if I didn't admit that a part of understanding why my content needed to take a back seat, I also wrestled with how people online were policing what people post. And so I'm the type of person that I try not to speak on things unless I've taken time to think about it, to pray about it, to assess all sides of the situation, and then come to a decision that's my own. And so with everything going on, I have not watched the recent videos of like George Floyd. So I just have not been watching them because it's not new. Whether you know it or not, I am a Black woman. I do identify a part of that community. And I believe that once you've seen one, you have seen them all. And it does mess with your mental psyche. And so I didn't need to see it. Enough people had posted pictures and tweets and reposts for me to understand the story and the narrative of what took place. And so when everything started to happen, I said, you know what? My channel can take a back seat. Talking about vulnerability is still important, but not today. And then it was like, not this week. The fitness uploads still happened because that was like a personal joy of mine. But the rest of my content, including Slow Down Sunday, I chose to sit it down. And part of that, especially with Slow Down with me on Sunday, is that I want to talk about how to care for yourself during given times. So let's start with, what should you be doing? I had not found the words or a solution yet up until a couple days ago. I saw a lot of people posting like the different roles in a protest that people can take up. Like, you could be the person that prays, you can, donate, you can make posters, like all these different things telling people how they can contribute. And I thought those were really helpful, but it wasn't I didn't have a piece about even that as being the solution. But recently I was listening to a podcast, and the guy said something that made so much sense to me. He said that you do what you do best, and you utilize your gifts the way you have them prior, because the world still needs them. And so he began to break it down as such. If I consider myself a motivational speaker, my contribution to this movement is to still encourage people. I don't wake up the day of a protest and become a lawyer. It just doesn't work out that way. I am not suddenly a pastor. I am not suddenly this radical frontliner of a protest. I am not suddenly a warrior, combat ninja. Like, yes, we have good intentions with what's going on, and we should have all hands on deck, but we have not affirmed people enough in what they were doing prior and how it's still helpful to the movement. And so when he was breaking it down, I had such a peace about it, because I'm like, you know what? That's it right there. Like, I'm a teacher. If I have not been talking about the Black Lives community prior to this situation, as an educator, my burden now becomes to educate by first learning. It does not mean I am not contributing if you do not see publicly what I am doing. I am still crafting my gift, but now it is to propel the endeavors of this community. If I am a chef, maybe for a little bit, I'll stop cooking for my business needs, and I will start to cook little meals with love to take to protesters, to take to communities that are impacted by the things that are happening, or to educate myself on areas where there are groups of people who are being oppressed with food. If I am a singer, I'm still going to create content with music, but maybe my music will be encouraging or informative. If I'm a rapper, I'll do the same thing. If I'm a poet, I'll do the same thing. If I'm an artist, I'll paint things that promote this movement, whether it's to highlight the pain, the injustices, or just paint a picture that is informative. I'm going to continue using my gifts, but now it is to like almost push this agenda. And so I hope this makes sense, because as I sat down and listened to it, I said, now that is sound to me. We have so many people policing other people's social media and what they are and or are not doing, that is unproductive. And so for a few weeks, I think it was just 2, I kind of just got quiet. No one has reached out to me and demanded that I say anything. So I'm not even going to act like I'm just on this pedestal where I needed to make a comment. But because I do believe that I'm an educator and I am an encourager, even with things kind of like a little quieter online, it's still happening, but it's not as aggressive. I want to tell someone who maybe hasn't found their footing in what to do, start with your gifts. And I want to affirm the people who are privately wrestling with the fact that they are ignorant about what's going on. You start learning. It is all important. It all helps. It all helps. If you are an educator who prior to this, you were not teaching about oppression and, the system and police brutality, you are not going to post anything because you're going to be too busy learning. If you are a speaker or a preacher and you didn't, touch on this agenda, this topic, you're learning. Wherever you are, if you do not have enough information to speak about it, it's okay. Do not let social media pressure you into thinking that you have to be this guru of any movement that's happening. Instead, let the movement make you uncomfortable and convict you enough that you are going to do the work privately. Okay? If you are someone who hosts really well or you cultivate community, you're going to check on people. You're going to create safe spaces for people to vent. Everyone has a gift that helps with the overall goal. And we will become distracted and we will lose sight of the end game and the end goal and what we're really fighting for if we're spending more time nitpicking what people are or are not doing, if it is enough or if it is enough or if it's not enough, instead of encouraging people to utilize the gifts that God gave them, because it all pours into the same well and it benefits the people. And something that also came to my mind, if you are someone that has been policing people, is that prior to this happening, we were in a pandemic and people were struggling with their mental health. So we have to be very mindful of where people are and where they were when this came up with such great magnitude. The police brutality in the Black community is not new, but the fact that it has received this much attention and their foot are on their necks and things are happening, that's awesome. I am not excusing people from contributing or doing the work, but let's look at people and humanity, and I'm talking about people in general, and make sure we're assessing, like, okay, just because someone hasn't said anything doesn't mean they're not doing anything. And so instead of policing people, encourage people and give them strategy and tools for what they can do. And yes, look to your left and right and make sure your brothers and sisters are there. But when they're not there, don't waste time and energy criticizing them. But maybe turn around and say, you know, I noticed that you haven't really talked about it. Is it because you need more information? Do you need some resources? Are you confused? Do you have any questions? Are you scared? Are you scared? Are you scared? Are you scared that you're going to say something incorrectly? Check on your brothers and sisters and find out why they're not showing up the way you believe they can. Not the way they should, but that you believe that they can. That's really how we push this agenda. And so for Self-Care Sunday, I just want to encourage, that's what I want to talk about. Finding your footing and everything, using your gifts, being creative with that, and going for it. If you are an intercessor, you're praying for the people protesting. You're praying for the people who have lost loved ones and that has brought on this protest. You're praying for the fear that lives within the hearts and lives of men and women in the Black community, the police, white people. I mean, everybody's being impacted by it. But if you're an intercessor, you're praying. And whether people thank you or not, that is important. That is everything. There are people who don't go outside to protest, but they have donated. There are people who have created scholarships. Like, people are doing the work. Do not assume that they are not. And so again, for this Self-Care Sunday video, if you are someone who has not said anything, if you are someone who has not done anything, if you are someone that does not know where to start, I want you to look at yourself and start with your gifts. What do I do well? And start there. If maybe your gift is to be a friend. You need to make it your business to call your friends and say, hey, there's a lot going on in our community and it's overwhelming. Have you talked to anyone? Do you need anything? Do you need a hug? Do you need a vent? Have you watched the videos and now your mental space is just a wreck? Because that helps. It helps. And so lastly, for this Self-Care Sunday, or I said Self-Care Sunday, Slow Down With Me Sunday, we have to learn to be okay with having to take a step back because it's a lot. I saw so many people wrestling with needing to post, just to post, needing to post, just to post. And it's like, let's not become those people who just do things because we don't want to be judged, or we wait to see what certain people post, and that is where we determine what we should be doing, right? So we have influencers, and so it's like, if Kanye is running out the house with guns, that gives you permission to do it. Like, let's be critical thinkers, and let's stop being lazy, and let's research. Own your ignorance. Own your discomfort. Own your fear. That is a form of caring for yourself. Whoa. Police brutality is getting out of hand. I didn't know much about it. Everybody on my social media is posting about it, and I really want to post too. No, you don't get to post. What you can do is stop posting and start actually looking into the resources that now these hashtags have provided us. Now these different pages have provided us. That is you doing something. That is so helpful if no one's told you. Man, I'm really depressed and this is like a lot. You take care of that mental health. That is helpful. We need you to be here, and we need your mental health to be intact. Do not let people pressure you, and do not sit back and be lazy, and don't tap into critical thinking because you're waiting for someone else to tell you what to do, what you should be doing. Last point. My prayer is that we are not going out to these protests just to take pictures. I want you to assess yourself. If you're one of those people that you're showing up, I mean, yes, we all want to be a part of this movement. We're making history, but make sure your heart is really for the cause, because there are some people who they have committed their life, their resources, and their time to this. And yes, it is beautiful to be outside, and the love and the energy and it's beautiful, right? But don't let this be a 2-day commitment. Don't let this be a 1-week commitment, because there are people who they do this day in and day out, and they need you to continue to show up. because they have given it their everything. And so through it all, we have to look at our heart and assess where we are and what we can contribute, because this is real. I am not excusing anyone from doing the work. I am simply affirming people who are finding their footing and encouraging everyone to figure out what work they should be doing. Everyone has something that they should be working on to help push this forward, because Black lives absolutely do matter. They've been mattered, but they absolutely matter. They are absolutely worthy. They are life-changing. And so we should not take our foot off of the system's neck when it comes to this. We absolutely have to help get this thing done and get it done right. Okay? So just a quick check-in. I will go back to my regularly scheduled program as far as posting content, because as I've said in this video, as a teacher and an encourager, it is necessary for us to continue doing it. But what I will probably try to add, I'm not making any promises yet, is a component about information about the Black Lives Matter movement and resources and things like that. I've been thinking heavily about helping educators, with making sure this is in their classroom curriculum. And that starts with me sitting down and making sure it's embedded in a very bold way in my curriculum as well. So maybe that won't come on my channel until September. I don't know. But I'm not going to do it now impulsively just to prove a point, because I want it to be done well. But that doesn't mean I'm not doing the work behind the scenes. That's what I want you to get. That I am committing myself to making sure I take up this endeavor and work alongside my brothers and sisters and educate the kids for tomorrow. Educate the kids who will also be protesting a year from now, 2 years from now, that they are sharp and excellent in what they're outside yelling, that they can create proposals and legislation, that they can argue down why a certain politician shouldn't be in office, not just yelling. You see what I'm saying? It's a long-term commitment for this type of movement. And so everyone has a place. Everyone can be doing some sort of work. Okay? As always, thank you for your flexibility. Thank you for my double post today. Thank you for watching, liking, subscribing. I will be back tomorrow. We have one more video to get through as far as the Wholehearted Living series. Then we will probably start a new book. But a lot of good content coming. I see I have some new subscribers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you to everyone who's been sharing my videos. It's been amazing. So yeah, let's get to it. Bye.